let's have some fun. Okay, so we're here with the team behind McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt. We've got Master Distiller Joe O'Sullivan, Head Distiller Caitlin Bartlemay. Did I pronounce both of those names right? I assume so. They seem easy enough.
Yeah,
You did.
absolutely.
That was perfect.
Okay. All right, good. So McCarthy's is America's oldest single malt. It's a peated whiskey in the style of famous Islay malts. Only recently, the brand expanded from a 3-year product to a newer 6-year and barrel-proof expressions. On behalf of You Would Hate It Consulting, I want to thank you for agreeing to this pitch meeting. Our style can be a bit unorthodox and our reputation precedes us, so we don't get invited into many offices, as you might expect. Today, I want to explore your brand and present some groundbreaking ideas that me and my team have come up with to really change the way that people perceive and engage with your product. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, we're game for anything that you have to offer us. How did you find us?
Well, it's a funny story. As a young man, I was wandering through the whiskey aisle with more money than sense. And I was randomly buying bottles I couldn't afford off shelves. And something about the Oregon single malt, it called to me. I grabbed it. I went home. A good friend of mine made fun of me for the purchase. And then in spite of him, I decided I really enjoyed it. And ever since, I've sort of had a soft spot for this product. So when we thought about what we could offer in our services, I really wanted to reach out to you and think if maybe I could revitalize this near childhood brand of mine that I could really give back to the whiskey community.
Wonderful.
All right. So first and foremost, are you committed to your current brand? Because if not, I do have some interesting redesign ideas. Okay. All right. So then
we're extremely committed. There's really, we love what we have, but it is several decades old. I'm willing to entertain what you have. It's you come with accolades, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. The San Francisco Spirits Competition has given us double gold in marketing twice now.
Excellent.
So this first idea and concept I have for you, it's a few weeks old, but I think given current events, it might actually be more impactful than it otherwise was going to be. So the first thing that comes to mind when people think of McCarthy, it's actually Joseph McCarthy. Witch hunts, communism. I say lean into that brand recognition. You can build off of what Joseph McCarthy started. And I think McCarthy's Red Scare is the attention grabber that you need to drive purchases.
I don't know if this is really gonna fly under the current climate. That's maybe the best I could do is try to get a mustache similar to that, but this is quite a bit, and also 1801. I mean, that's a great bottling. We're a little more up to date than that. What
I don't know, Joseph, considering our history of absolutely diabolically poor timing, this could be a good direction for us.
Mm-hmm. I think if you get it to market fast enough, people will purchase it in mass, even if only to smash it.
It does,
and that would drive sales in a way I'm not sure you've seen before.
Does this say it's barrel aged in Mother Russia?
So my general counsel tells me that legally you're going to have to barrel some in Russia for us to pull off this branding scheme. So, you don't have to go that extra step. We could lie about it. The TTB is not likely to catch. But
could we get a Ziploc bag of dirt from Russia and put it in a litter box underneath the barrels and call it good?
Yeah. See, I have some other ideas that kind of go into that similar mold of shortcuts, and I think you're gonna like them. So let me try a different one on you. So outside of Oregon, outside of the Pacific Northwest, people have no idea what's going on in Oregon, and they really don't care. Okay, not a very good brand outside of the Pacific Northwest. In New Jersey, in Texas, in Kentucky, it's not top of mind.
I tell my marketing team that all the time.
Yeah, literally, specifically, actually. Nobody cares about Oregon.
I see. And now I have something else that no one cares about outside of Oregon, but does have an interesting brand, the state of Jefferson. Now, that is rebellion, it's revolution. And I think if you can authentically tap into it, you might be able to establish yourself as the official bottle that is used for Molotov cocktails in the eventual war for independence.
There is a double X on the label. My God.
You know what? I will say this: the yellow capsule on the top of the bottle is more attractive than I expected it to be.
You know, I think the same thing. The yellow bottling actually does work. If there's a limited coming up, you may want to consider it.
This is it's truly an amazing it's truly an amazing attempt at I guess annexing the eastern side of the Pacific Northwest for its own special release. I can see that immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've never been up to the area. I'd never heard of the state of Jefferson until only recently. But from what I can tell, you would not have problems selling this brand in that region of the country. So, you know, for the next limited release, I think you should consider that one. Now, my research and analytics division had a question for you. Do you know what the fastest growing consumer segment is in the American whiskey market?
It's definitely not peated American single malt. I can tell you that much.
Okay, I'm more focused on the consumers themselves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's gonna be balding old guys with too much money.
Very close.
And not enough sense.
Very close. It's actually cat guys.
Yes!
And they're currently underserved. I think this is a unique opportunity to corner this market. Plus, as every advertiser's dream, a built-in mascot.
This is perfect. Meow Car. Sorry.
Yeah,
the
I was
Meow,
waiting for you to see that.
Meow Carthy's is a fine change from the Robert Evans inspired nightmare that you just gave us a moment ago.
Okay. All right. I think there's something there.
I could go with this. Meow Carthy's Distillery Cats. You know, first of all, in all seriousness, I have that book. Second
You also
of all,
you also have that cat.
I also have that cat.
I too have that cat. Yeah.
No, my cat Chickpea is a distillery cat. We got her during a storm where she ran into the distillery, and has lived with me ever since.
All right, I like that. I'm the same person who every time I see a cat outside, I try to grab it and bring it into my home, and then my wife puts it back outside.
Can I ask you a question that I'm kind of scared? What does cat distilled mean?
I'm not exactly sure, but there's room for us actually to coin the term. So it can be whatever we'd like, because I'm fairly certain it's never been used before.
I mean, we could really push the limits here, knowing that furries trend pretty highly in Georgia. And we could start distilling. We could start distilling in furry suits and really push the limits of what niche markets we can expand into.
I didn't know that was a Georgia thing.
Oh, it's pretty routinely on the Pornhub, what state searches for what. It's definitely always deep
I like
south.
That. I didn't even think about that as a research segment. I didn't go to the Pornhub Oregon section. Damn.
So you're missing out. 2021 was a rich vein of comedy across the United States.
God, you know what? There may be a job for you at YouWouldHateIt Consulting in the future, because that is brilliant. God, I'm pissed. I didn't think of that first. Okay, last redesign idea, not themed. If you're insistent on keeping your current branding and you don't like those three ideas, I have one idea I think you should consider for the bottle. Tiny labels. When a customer sees this, they're going to have to grab it to bring it close enough to their face to read. And once they have it in their hand, they're going to buy it. It's basically like the swooping neckline of bottles.
It really does make you go for a deep dive into the label. I can't even quite see it. It's really hard to read.
Yes, and that's ideal. That's actually kind of the point. Ideally, the person will assume it's them and not the bottle that's impossible to read, and they'll ask for help, and then the person who runs the store will then sell the bottle.
This is the last of your rebrandings that you have.
If you don't like this, There's really no pleasing you.
Do you find you're successful with your company?
I plan on asking you at the end because this is our first pitch meeting. And I'm really counting on a referral. So keep that in mind as we continue.
It's making an impact.
Okay.
All right, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
One might even say this experience will be unforgettable.
Okay. Staying on the theme here of sort of dragging the customer in under false pretenses. All right. I think in whiskey, confusion equals consumption. So there's something else that's very important we need to discuss, and that's your name. No self-respecting Scottish single malt has a name that's pronounced exactly as it's spelled. So I think it's time to consider inventing an insider's pronunciation for your fans who can then petulantly correct people for not knowing. First one, McCarthy's. I don't know how that strikes you.
I don't know how you did it. You came up with a great idea.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really disappointed in the team here that we haven't stumbled across the fact that our name is way too easy to pronounce.
Yeah, McCarthy's. I mean, it's certainly not going to offend anybody.
I have a couple others here. I got McCarthy's. I've got McArtish.
McArtish. Okay.
Last one, McCartis.
Ooh, I like that one. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah. McCarthy's sounds. I actually think that what you've really discovered is the chain of pronunciations depending on how deep you get into the bottle.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So we could actually have them written on like the back label. So as you break it down, they appear.
Yes, exactly.
I think what I appreciate the most about this last one is the fact that it really lends itself to be yelled aloud in rage with both fists held aloft. McCarthy's!
Yes.
I'm getting a much more of a deadpan Wilford Brimley pronunciation of this. McCarthy's.
It's going to be an extensive casting call to find the person who really brings out the name. And we'll get more to that in a little bit because that's not where we're going next. And I should have gone to that.
Wait. You're casting us?
No, I have casting for the advertising. I have a few.
Okay.
So let's see here. But before we did that, I wanted to get into a little bit. You're growing, expanding, and I have some product ideas. Let's see. The first one here. So nothing sells whiskey quite like natural disaster. Tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, it's all been done, except, pardon me, I have some filler, except volcanoes.
Yes.
Right in your backyard.
Yes.
I again.
Oh my God.
I'm starting
I love
to really
that label.
I'm starting to appreciate You Would Hate This consulting more than you know. This is going far better than I experienced. Barrel aged inside a volcano, inside an actual volcano. We can pull that off. I'm sure it can be kind of a quick aging.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with this.
If we can't get in the volcano, we could put it at the base. The people don't need to know that.
Yeah, inside a volcano, quite near a volcano. Like,
yes,
we're really splitting hairs at that point.
With wood and volcanic ash. I don't know. I see trees on the volcano in the picture, which I'm pretty certain is the volcano in proximity to you, but I don't remember.
This could be real accurate. And they're all volcanoes around us, to be technical. But I mean, 2022 is not even near over, and we're already almost at World War III. Volcano is going to be happening.
I mean, and the world is about to end. Bingo. Who had Putin unites the world for February and March? Like, right. Volcano could really be the next best thing.
I think volcano sells, and I think it sells easily. So
that's I 100% agree.
I'm a little embarrassed I had to tell you that there's a volcano in your backyard and you should be bottling whiskey in it. But
I mean, that's fair.
That's why I'm here.
If it makes you feel better, we continually feel shame on a moment-to-moment basis. So
okay.
It's why we're such good workers.
That's a good point. The shame is a very important part of being a good worker. Okay, so I've got a lot of really important Oregon ideas here. This other one is another I'm a little bit embarrassed to have to bring up. So speaking of your Oregon home field advantage, you got an opportunity here to tap into a hype market that's even bigger than whiskey, and that's sneakers. Nike already makes cork products. You got to get that cork, you got to slap that swoosh on it, and then you serialize them, you color code them, you get celebrities to write their initials on them, and there will be literal stabbings over McCarthy corks.
Just drink it.
Just drink it.
Gorgeous.
We could get
Gorgeous.
Spike Lee. We could do some really interesting things.
Absolutely. I mean, we have some connections to Nike. There's been a bit of exchange between our company and theirs, and I don't see why not. This one is very more doable than you realize.
I love that. And,
I mean, I like the opportunity. You know, we could do a little bit of a brand extension here, and you know, getting some really sweet like Nike jerseys and shorts and sweatsuits and barrel age them like they do raw denim jeans, and then you could have a barrel aged sweatsuit to go with your sweet signed Nike cork.
You're really gonna
Caitlin,
like my
do you need me to give you a raise in order to keep you in my company?
I am drawing.
I'm never gonna say no to a raise ever.
Drawing up an offer as we speak. Okay, you're really gonna like my next idea because, unlike most, Kentucky distilleries, you guys have an NBA team in your backyard, and every NBA team plays on hardwood. It's time. They got to change that cord out, once a year? Once every 18 months? You got to get that hardwood, make it to the coop. What is that guy called?
Cooper.
Make it in barrels.
Get him to the Cooper Trooper.
Well, age it. And then you're literally barreling the blood, sweat, and tears of professional athletes.
This is the Blazers. There's going to be a lot of connection. This is going to work. This one could actually genuinely work. I can see this having a success in the Portland market.
I think out of all of the great ideas you've come up with, this is the one that our sales and marketing team actually combined will be the most excited about.
Okay, that's good. Because I think this one works. I don't know how you're going to be able to get a section of the floor that is obviously the logo, like I've micro-sized here.
Yeah, but this idea has the potential to really get some C-suite motivation.
Oh, absolutely.
Like C-suite level motivation on this idea.
Okay, I love that. I'm going to write that down. That this is actionable. It's an actionable idea. All right, my next idea. One more product idea. It's actually a brand extension. It's not a whiskey. It's barrel-aged weed. Everything in 2022 is barrel-aged. Everything. Wine, candles, you name it. The first state in the nation to legalize weed, somebody is going to be barrel-aging weed and whiskey. And I think McCarthy's has the brand to be that person.
You have no idea how personal how successful this would be within the company.
Yep.
This would be a very successful product. We would probably buy all of it ourselves, possibly.
There would be a very expensive and long-running R&D within the company in order to make sure that this is thoroughly vetted before it gets rolled out to the public.
We definitely have been trying to get onto the forefront of something. I think he may have just given us a real bone.
This is, I don't know how the weed would get the whiskey from the barrel scientifically, but that doesn't really matter. This idea, I think, has legs.
Absolutely. I mean, I can just see the peat and the dank coming together to form a beautiful nose.
And then you take the barrels back, then you age whiskey in them, and then you sell them. I mean, it never stops. It's a beautiful cycle. Okay. That was my last product, but I do have I don't know what to call it, a service idea. The big thing in whiskey right now is barrel pick programs. You guys have one, yes?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So another thing that kind of came to mind for me, I was doing some Oregon research. You guys actually have the most waterfalls in the nation as well. So, ocean aged, river aged, water aging sort of played out. What I want to do here is when you pick a barrel at your company, you guys throw 3 barrels off a waterfall. The person there to pick them has to dive in and rescue one, then they can bottle it.
Interestingly enough, There's actually historical precedence for this exact activity.
I love that.
There's
Caitlin's not
literally,
lying.
there is actually a real historical story of the most tragic man in distilling. And Joseph, you're gonna have to remind me his name because I always forget.
It's another. I can't recall either at this moment. I'm too captivated by this amazing artwork that I'm seeing. I did
love
notice
the
that. I
artwork.
did notice in particular the two individuals in the backgrounds.
You know what? Let me see if I can zoom in on that.
Like we're gonna need that photo, just so you know. We're gonna print it up and it's gonna get framed in the distillery because that's gorgeous.
I'm glad that you watermarked your own images there.
Oh no, those are the stock image watermarks that I have stolen. So
Awesome.
I could have photoshopped those out. I do have those skills. I elected not to.
No, leave them there.
Elected not to. But I think there's a couple important parts here. Is that if they don't catch any, they go home empty-handed. They don't get their money back. They waste.
Sure, absolutely.
They're not athletes, and that's important. And also, we're going to need some very.
So wait, are you suggesting there's a pre-screening process to make sure they're not athletes?
No, maybe there is. It's sort of like the half-court shot at NBA games. They have to pick just the right person who can't get the ball all the way there because they don't want to give away a Prius every night.
Do they get their money back if they don't get a barrel? What if they fall over?
They have to sign waivers because someone will drown, and we're not going to be held liable for that.
This is an
Now,
airtight idea.
you could have 3 different groups come at once and sort of hint that one's a honey barrel and then see what happens. You know, like there's a little game theory there. Do you go for the one everyone wants? Do you play together? Do you form a human chain?
So one is going to be a 10-year, the others can all be 3 years, and we basically are going to see the Multnomah Whiskey Library fight.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, I think there's something here because you got to differentiate. It's 2022. Everyone has a distillery and everyone has a pick program. This, no one has.
I don't think anyone's wanted.
I mean, that's the important thing, though. You have to think about what your customer wants before they even know they want it.
Exactly. That's entirely what I was trying to say.
I am a huge proponent of that the customer has no idea what it wants, and you shouldn't ask them. You tell them what they want. I actually have an idea for a restaurant where you come in and I tell you what you're having for dinner.
I could not agree with you more. This is you're speaking my language on this one. The customer needs to be told what they want.
Okay, good. We're on the exact same page. All right, so let's go back. We talked a little bit before about celebrity endorsers. I have a few ideas, a little bit of a casting call. We can go through this here and see if any jump out to you. Because people need to know who's drinking McCarthy's, and they have to be famous. That's sort of mandatory. So, first idea, obviously, Melissa McCarthy. This is easy, but
no arguments.
More specifically, she has to play the character from Bridesmaids. It's like the female Ron Swanson. She definitely knows her way around a whiskey, rough and tumble gal. I think she might actually be able to make a show out of this character and this brand placement.
I would do anything to have this happen. I would be very, very pleased if we could make this a reality.
The thing is I'm sitting here being like, yeah, he just described me, and that's upsetting.
See, I have another job.
Like you could probably just replace that character, Melissa McCarthy, as that character for me, and many of the people in the company might not notice there's been a change.
Caitlin's basically like a lady version of Alan Tudyk.
The only thing we're going to ask you when you try out for the role is if you can somehow get your leg up on the door frame like she does in the movie, where she just sticks the heel into the wall. I think that's the only requirement to play her if we can't get her.
Gotcha. Noted.
Yeah. All right, let's try another one here. The face of the Jailblazers. I think it's a natural brand extension into a whiskey.
They haven't been the Jailblazers for like 8 years, sir.
That's why you're not looking at a picture of Dame Lillard. I don't think that man can sell whiskey. I think Rasheed Wallace, maybe.
This is sports related. I don't understand a damn thing.
Oh, then you're really not going to like the next couple. Chip Kelly.
Oh,
Now,
Gross.
this is a
Nip
man-
County has bitch tits. Don't even with me.
This is a man, as do most people buying whiskey right now. So you really need to relax. This is a man who made a name for himself in Oregon. And no matter how much he fails, and no matter how much he sucks, and no matter how much people hate him, he keeps getting bigger jobs in bigger markets. That is a roadmap for you. Americans hate peated whiskey. We want to keep making them buy it anyway. So that's why I think this guy might be kind of an unorthodox brand ambassador.
This is gonna be a hard sell. We got a lot of beavers in the C-suite.
Oh, okay. See, I went very Oregon here. I didn't go very Oregon State.
This is a Ducks and Beavers thing?
Yeah, he a notorious Ducks football coach for a number of years.
Oh, well, then Jordan will be happy.
Yeah, and I did not research any famous alumni from Oregon State, so we're only going with Ducks.
I mean, there aren't many famous sports alumni for Oregon State.
Well, I do have non-sports. The alumni I have are non-sports. So let's keep going. Bill Walton, famous.
Oh, I'm okay with this. I know Bill Walton, of all
Famous
people.
name,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could deal with this.
He's also probably the only person in sports who could get away with drinking your bottle during a national TV broadcast. So,
yeah, I think people would cheer him on.
exactly. He's usually wearing Hawaiian shirts. Not really on brand for you, but I think would draw attention. He's also often on hallucinogenic drugs.
This would be
So-
Steve McCarthy's #1 choice so far of everything that you've presented to us.
The Bill Walton. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I have two Oregon Ducks alums next. Non-sports. We're done with the sports. Caitlin Olsen, Always Sunny, D. Ideally, her reprising the role from the episode where the gang broke D.
I think this is fantastic. As a Northeastern boy myself, I like the idea that we're bringing in a little bit more of our regional humor into this mix. So yeah, I like this one.
I could see it being like when True Detective came out and everyone bought Lone Star beer. If we can get Sweet D drinking McCarthy's overnight, we're crossing the country. We're in Philly, we're in Oregon, we're all over the place. And on this front, we got one more Oregon Duck alum, Ty Burrell.
Oh, you can't get mad at Ty Burrell. He's a legend.
Exactly. He's handsome, he's funny, and also classic family values. Also, huge whiskey nerd. Runs a
And
bar.
he was in a
Is
Muppet
that true?
movie.
Yeah.
And he was also in Dawn of the Dead, where he played his one and only scumbag.
So I only made it in just through the beginning credits for Dawn of the Dead before I ran away scared.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror movie guy.
I would take Ty Burrell for sure.
Oh,
Well,
100%.
I think what's important here is he isn't just a whiskey guy, but he's a pretty big tater. Like we got Blanton's, Birthday
Oh, yeah.
Bird, Pappy's back here, a little what am I thinking? Parker's. Like if we can get this in this guy's bar, we might get somewhere with this.
Oh, is that looks like a pretty good collection of High West back there as well. Good on
Yeah,
him.
there's some good people we know at High West. I think they'd be pleased to see that. If you can get us in touch with Ty Burrell, we'll send him a bottle.
Okay,
100%.
I'll reach out to him. And his people. Okay, so I don't just have products and endorsers. I also have some kind of advertising campaign ideas. Because we've got to tell a story as we sort of take this brand, to larger national audiences. And I want you to think for a second, staying on this Oregon idea, you branded yourselves as, the Oregon single malt. What is, for most people in the 35 to 55 whiskey demographic, their first introduction to Oregon?
Portlandia, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
The Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah.
How did we miss that?
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm actually in that age demographic.
Shame.
The tagline is, there's more than just dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Come get the McCarthy's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that color
100%.
green, you just, as soon as you see it, they're like neurons that fire in your brain from when you were 6 and you were on a Mac that was like 4 inches in diameter in first grade.
The black and green screen. The only thing I might have to add to this is I want a pixelated label for this.
That's outside of my skill set.
I mean, here's the thing though. Realistically, like I think Joseph and I are prepared to go full throttle on this ad campaign, just as it stands right now.
At a minimum, this is an Instagram ad campaign.
Oh, absolutely at a minimum. I mean, I can see this play out in large regional sports themed type situations. I'm not sure if we'll make the Super Bowl this year, but next year.
Next year.
This is going to play really well in Oregon City.
Yes. Okay. So that's kind of the play on Oregon. Play number 2, you're America's oldest single malt. We need a way to convey just how long that you've been making this product in a way that will really resonate with Americans. Okay? McCarthy's, older than the war in Afghanistan, but we're still going since 1996. I don't think there's anything in this country that people are tired of and associate with being really old, quite like they did the war in Afghanistan.
Entire generations have actually had to be born.
Entire generations, yeah. Entire generations have never not been at war with Afghanistan.
Yes, and when people see this ad, they're going to say, "Holy shit! I could have been drinking this whiskey for entire generations, and I just found out about it today."
Ouch.
I'm not opposed to this one. I mean, we are supposedly out of that war. I mean, we might be going into another. You never know. It's been at least 6 months since we've been in one, so we're due. But okay. I can imagine that amongst the millennials, this is going to play out great.
If you can get it past the legal team, maybe you can this can be part of some weird left-wing progressive ad spaces, very targeted marketing. Mm-hmm. You may have something here.
I can see this on the Young Turks immediately.
Yes. Okay, so let's stay a little bit. We'll move away from controversy some. We'll go back to the region. Modern whiskey is about kind of one thing in sales, and that's scarcity, right? So we need to make it clear to people that if they don't drink McCarthy's now, they're never going to get a chance again. And that's because the big earthquake is coming from the Pacific Northwest. So drink it before it's too late.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I like this idea a lot. I mean, eventually we're just going to be isolated on our side with all of the McCarthy's.
Yes. You need to go there, get it, extract it before it just drifts off to sea.
I love
this.
Yeah,
but then there's going to be a McCarthy's Island, and how dope would that be?
Yeah, and you're not going to be allowed to be on it.
And then we can make those Hawaiian shirts from previously work into the new brand, because then we'll be an island. And then you can do a whole ad campaign based on island shirts.
You've missed your calling. What are you doing distilling whiskey?
I don't know.
God, unbelievable. Okay, this next one is a little off the wall. Sophisticated whiskey drinkers, they already know about, E150 coloring, all that food dye that goes into the famous scotches to make them red and appealing. And Jim Murray of the Whiskey Bible famously claims that he's able to taste that, even though it's scientifically impossible. So my plan is to make a new claim about taste that separates you from the rest of the market. Oregon is one of the only 2 states where you can't pump your own gas. McCarthy's, 99% of whiskey distillers have gas hands. We don't. And then we start a campaign of reviewers who can taste the gas in non-Oregon whiskeys.
I can endorse this idea too. I mean, I certainly haven't pumped my gas in years. I kind of forgot how.
Yeah, it's alarming. I'm from Jersey. We're the only other state. I go to Pennsylvania and I sit in my car for 5 minutes before I realize no one's coming.
This is why you have such a discerning palate. I'm really glad that you found us.
That's right. I don't breathe in quite as much gas as the average man who has to pump his own gas. So that's a thinker. It's going to take a while to kind of permeate the whiskey community with this, but long term, could be something here. All right. For the next campaign, it's not so common anymore, but let's not forget there's a lot of other uses for whiskey other than, drinking it as adults. And one of the biggest uses for whiskey is childcare. All right. McCarthy's. A little goes a long way. I don't know if either of you have kids.
No, I don't. I don't think that if I endorse this, I would be allowed them.
Well, it's a medicinal. It's we would obviously have to find a doctor to sign off on a certain amount. 1 milliliter, a fingertip's worth is safe for use.
This is some real 10th dentist marketing.
Yes. 9 out of 10 dentists say McCarthy's does not stop teething.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 dentists say don't give
dentist.
your child whiskey, but that one that says it, that's who we're going to be going with.
See,
we live in a society where those people been given a very large, loud voice.
Caitlin just dropped another heater on us that I don't want to go miss. How I don't have a 9 out of 10 Americans don't think McCarthy's is the best whiskey in the world. The 10th man, advertising campaign. Oh, God. Oh, man. Just another winner that slipped right through the 5-hole for me here. Okay. I've got another one for you. It's America. As you've known, our political landscape, people like to pick sides. People like a rivalry. They want to do A versus B. So I think in American single malt, Westland is probably the biggest name fish, in terms of national brand recognition. It's time to take them head on with a series of insulting advertising campaigns. Westland single malt making you sick? Well, McCarthy's can fix that.
I owe Steve Hawley, Steve, I'm very sorry.
Yes, it's okay. It's business. You guys can still be friends. It's, hey, look, the guys in the suits, they want to sell some whiskey. They decided to take shots at you personally.
I mean, real friends don't let aggressive smear campaigns get between their friendship.
Well,
no,
I think what's important here is they're going to inevitably smear back. Ideally, in good fun, right? And this can be an Oregon State fight, Yankees, Red Sox. The bigger we can get this, the better. But you need to have a second one in the hopper. You can't get caught flat-footed with whatever they come up with. I already have that, okay? Fuck Westland. So they think like this is fun and it's cute, and then you go top ropes, leg drop.
This has got some real Letterkenny energy.
This is
like 100%.
100%.
This, God damn it.
I do have to say, I greatly appreciate Westland. I think Westland is quite good. Maybe heck Westland. I could go with that.
Okay. I mean, I gave you the star. I gave you the asterisk. We can't be too scandalous. It's still a family brand. And what's really fun about this is that my buddy I referenced before at the Bourbon News, he's like the biggest Westland stan in America. And personally, I can't get into the stuff. I've tried 25 of them. I don't know what it is. It doesn't work. I pour it into my mouth. I don't enjoy it. I try every new one with an open mind. I'm so excited for the first one that grips me. I'm not into it. And I love your product, and he doesn't like peated whiskey. So it's a natural rivalry for me as well.
Do you think we can get? I would like to see a counterpoint. I hope. Are you talking to Westland at all for your consulting? This is a referral business, and if you'd like to maybe make a connection on, we don't have to necessarily tell them that we have this in the hopper, but I can then go easy on you, right? Like I'll set them up for failure. You connect me. I say, it's kind of fun. Let's play along, and then you get it. Getting right in on the inside. Oh, I'll definitely put you in touch.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, now the last part of this presentation. Don't worry, I'm almost done.
To be honest, this has been gorgeous the entire time. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. You could go for another hour, and Joseph and I would be at the edge of our seat waiting to see what you come up with next.
I told you this would not be like the podcasts and things that you normally do.
No, this has been absolutely gorgeous.
This is incredible. I'm loving every moment of this.
Great. So for my last piece of the presentation here. I'm moving away from the bottle, the brand, the product, okay? And I have rebrand and ideas for both of you. Okay. So new looks, new brands, new identities. We'll start with Joe. The term Master Distiller, personally, I think it's a little pretentious. And on top of that, it's diluted. Most people who love whiskey, they realize nowadays it doesn't mean anything. There's too many distilleries. There's thousands upon thousands of them. And I want to take you in a different direction, more of like a Silicon Valley hipster guru, okay? Hippie jewelry, bald head, and you never wear shoes, ever. Inside, outside, in the grass, at a football game, at your home, never wear shoes.
I'm horrified. I'm horrified at this. This is shocking, upsetting on many levels. But I do think it would gain me a certain amount of publicity.
Yes.
Are those friendship bracelets?
Yes. And I haven't decided if they should be from, if you don't have children, maybe local children. And I'm not sure why they'd be making bracelets for you, but we can come up with something. But the Grand Poobah of Pete, I think, is a brand that can carry international.
I do appreciate the Harrison Ford earring. That's looking pretty good on me.
I feel like the one thing that's really missing is, like, if he's going to be the Grand Poobah, he needs to have a Pooh Bear tattooed just peeking out from underneath that shirt sleeve.
Okay. See, I went a different direction with tattoos. So, Caitlin, women in whiskey, much less head distillers, are a little intimidating for the male audience. We don't like it. We don't like to think that there are women at our football games and on our TVs talking about our sports and making our whiskey. I actually want to lean into that a little bit, that intimidation factor. So I'm going to ask you to get tattoos from the waist up and wear a little Kiss style face makeup. And we're going to rebrand you as Stave Digger, like the Grave Digger monster truck.
Yes.
Okay.
This is exactly what I've been trying to prevent for her for years.
See, I think actually, I would prefer if you never use the ladder inside the rick house and you just climb up the barrels like a spider.
There may or may not also be historical precedents for that as well.
All of this isn't ringing entirely too true with her.
It really is.
Yes. So, now you've seen it. You've seen the entirety of my presentation here today. I've got ideas for everything from the bottle to yourselves. And I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us.
I will absolutely be letting everybody know what I think.
Thank you.
It's been revealing. It's been inspirational. It's been overwhelming at times. But you know what? There's a lot of good material here.
I have one word for this: catharsis.